Hello and welcome to another episode of Drop Frames here. It's December 44th, 2020, and we are excited to talk about all the drama, all the latest and greatest, all the games being announced, and we're going to start with Co. Introduce the drama. Please, Co. What is the drama? We need the drama.
Well, I think the drama that I know about is the PoE patch, but then also
which
Star
drama
Wars.
would you like, JP?
Apparently, Star Wars is going to have an open world game made by Ubisoft.
Correct.
So there will be lots of Jedi towers being climbed and things of that nature. So that should be interesting. Yes.
I can't wait to control stormtroopers' farts and throw them at.
It's very true.
Enemies.
It's very true.
Absolutely.
Let's start with the Star Wars. Yeah, I hope, one, that it's not a Jedi-based game. I hope that they could stay away from the Jedi. And two, it's the devs behind it are massive, which are the people that are responsible for Division. So hopefully that means less Assassin's Creed open world and more Division, which kind of was an open world. But yeah, I don't know what that actually means. We'll just have to see. I also don't think we'll see that game for like 2 years at the earliest. But it is cool to see that they're, getting away from EA. I think I saw a tweet from EA as well, where they were like, by the way, we're still making the Star Wars games. Don't forget about us. We still have the IP. We can still do things with it. And everyone's like, shut up, EA. You already fucked up too many times. We're gonna let Ubisoft have around. So
they how does that work? Do they just disseminate the Star Wars IP?
I guess, yeah.
EA still has the rights to do stuff, but also Ubisoft does now?
Yeah. I think that there was, I think the contract was that EA had exclusivity till 2023, but I guess that's been dissolved or something. I'm not sure of the specifics of it behind it, but let me see if I can find this tweet. Yeah, so EA tweeted with little green checks 2 hours ago, "We love Star Wars," and sentence, new check. "We look forward to continuing our partnership with Lucasfilm Games," check. "We're making more Star Wars games, and BD1 is still the cutest." So it's one of those tweets where it's like, hey, don't forget about our Star Wars games that we can't announce. It's not necessarily the best looking tweet, but they're still making Star Wars games, so yeah. Zeke, you're laughing.
Sorry. I'm sorry. You may have heard something kind of sort of breaking through on my microphone.
I don't think so.
We have 3 dogs, two poodles and a pug, and an old pug. She's 13 years old.
Right.
And the pug has to. We put the pug in here with me, Millie, because the other dogs are way too rough. They're puppies, so they're really rough on her, and they're like 3 times her size now.
Yeah.
And so she stays in here with me, and pugs have this weird inward sneezing snorty thing that they do that I was unaware of.
Okay.
But they can't help it. But it's like a
like a pig?
It's like a reverse sneeze.
Oh.
It's like an involuntary thing, and it's just terrifying if you're just sitting there very quietly watching TV or doing a talk show, and then you hear this in the back. What the fucking Ganon?
It makes me in a weird way. It makes me think of what was that? Red Dragon, the pig scene from Red Dragon. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yes.
Yeah. Be careful, man. You gotta watch out for those human-eating pigs. They'll get you.
Cordell, bring me my pigs.
Yeah, you got to be careful. They'll feed you. So yeah, that's the Ubisoft announcement. Is that drama though, Co? You were live, I guess, during it. I haven't read too much of the internets today. Was there drama in the chat where people?
Not really drama. I saw most people less than enthused. I think Ubisoft right now is in a not so great position.
Sure.
With their somewhat lackluster releases, and then the previous drama wrapped around that company as well is still rubbing some people the wrong way.
Sure.
But I think it was more just kind of eye rolling.
But
I'd say drama. General chat malcontent that we get here on Twitch. But no, I wouldn't really say it's too much drama.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
I mean, when I heard about it, I was pretty pog about it.
You can be pog about it. I think that's because that's a different emote, isn't it? We'll get into the whole Pog thing in due time. I will say that I'm already tired of it, though. I was tired of it like 2 days ago, and now, but we'll get into it. What else? What else is out there? Going along with, I guess, new game announcements, the Indiana Jones IP is being made, perhaps
dude.
by like one of the coolest. Like if you had to guess or throw like a dart at a board of devs, Machine Games and Bethesda making an Indiana Jones game is pretty good. I'm kind of into that. That seems like a match made in not heaven, in some weird division of hell where they're like, yes, we'll give you the Indiana Jones IP, but you don't get Harrison. Harrison's not going to be involved. He's too much. He costs too much money. Very excited for that though. We'll see what it actually is and see what it actually follows.
Was Machine Games' was their last project that weird multiplayer Wolfenstein?
Yes. So they've probably been working on it for a while, I guess, after that. Yeah.
Okay. I was not a fan of that direction myself.
Yeah, but those other Wolfenstein games were pretty good, you know?
True. The other ones are good. Yeah. I mean, they're really good.
Yeah.
If they do it in that original style, that could be nice.
Yeah.
But having a cash store to purchase rare artifacts for your indie could be a little bit less than stellar.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things where you like hope that was like Bethesda saying like, hey, we need to make some money after the game comes out, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, and now I guess, okay, so Machine Games was never under, is Machine Games owned by Bethesda?
Yes, question mark here. Let me pull up the old wiki.
Yeah, but that would mean that they're now owned by Microsoft, right?
This is how, like, I've seen it in articles. Bethesda Studio Machine Games. So I'm guessing they're under the Bethesda umbrella. Yeah.
So it's all under
and
Microsoft.
Todd Howard is executive producer.
Yeah.
That can be good.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see if Microsoft's going to step in with some of Bethesda's like more heavy-handed marketization of their IPs. Because it's pretty well known that it makes money, but I mean, it's kind of well known it's not doing the best things to their image.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting to see if Microsoft steps in a little bit.
Well, it's one of those things too, where like, I don't, it would be in a weird way, it would rub me the wrong way more if they put MTX into like an Indiana Jones IP. Whereas if it's like, I don't know, a game IP, like an Assassin's Creed or a Wolfenstein or something like that. For some reason, like, even though it's already been done for years,
it's a bit more hollowed.
Yeah, maybe. And you know, I think the Indiana Jones brand is not necessarily as strong as it once was because the most recent movie was kind of dog shit. And I think that kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But like, I think it's still a pretty strong IP. So maybe I don't know. Like, do you think? Here's what I saw one article. Then Zeke, by all means, I'll let you jump in. I saw one article, or maybe it was just a tweet, where, and it just like, it hurt my fucking boomer soul to the core. It just rocked me the wrong way. People are going to be saying, is Indiana Jones a new Uncharted? And that just like really like, like I saw that and it's like, God damn it, man. Like, fuck. Like, Nathan Drake was based on Indiana Jones. God damn it. Like, yeah, it rubbed me the wrong way.
I saw a tweet like talking about people like, it's just gonna like, it's like going back, like it's just gonna be another Indiana Jones or another Uncharted, which is just a ripoff of Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
it's like,
Jesus,
guys.
Yeah, it would also be really weird too if it's actually just like an Uncharted game with Indiana Jones as the central character, because then it's just like an Ouroboros, right? Just a weird fucking media snake eating head type deal. Ugh.
Cannibalizing. Yeah.
Yeah. Just IPs cannibalizing one another. But we'll see what that actually looks like. I hope that in some way Machine Games, they've always kind of done, I guess in a way, they've always done games where they defeat Nazis. So maybe this is like hand in hand exactly what they should be doing. I didn't even consider that.
The anti-Nazi company.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm honestly wondering where in the story of indie this is going to take place, because
right,
you know, the Indiana Jones movies have spanned what, 30 something years,
something like that. Yeah, a while.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wondering if it's going to be old indie or it's going to be just like Raiders indie or Crystal Skull indie. Like, I'm sure it's going to be somewhere in the Temple of Doom, Raiders of the Lost Ark era.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to see if they
Also Alien.
said. Yeah, I hope they leave the alien nonsense out of it. Jesus, the Crystal Skull is rough. They're making a new Indiana Jones film, right? I think they're working on a new one with Harrison involved in it.
What?
Yeah, I think that's been. Yeah. Chat's saying yes. So that's been confirmed for a while.
I thought he was passing the torch to Shia LaBeouf.
Really?
Well, that's like kind of what they were setting up in Crystal Skull, right? They're setting up someone to take on.
You're right. I had forgotten
Indy's
about that
legacy.
movie. Yeah.
Didn't he run into some pretty serious problems?
What's that?
I think he did. Yeah. I think
Didn't Shia LaBeouf run into some stuff?
Yeah. But that's kind of his shtick.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the bad boy of Hollywood. I think he's also somewhat reformed. Didn't he? He had a movie recently that actually I think did really well critically.
Wait a minute. You're saying a Hollywood star is acting like an entitled dickbag? I don't buy it.
It's true.
I don't buy it.
It's true. Yeah, Honey Boy. That's right. I never watched Honey Boy, but I heard it was good. I heard it did well. Chat's confirming that it was actually good. So,
okay.
Anyways,
I've never heard of that movie.
I also, in a weird way, I do hope that they somehow rope, no pun intended, Harrison Ford into doing the voice acting for that game. Because I would just love to see Harrison Ford in a voice acting booth reading lines as like the B-roll on the collector's edition or something like that. That just seems like something that he would hate and would also be funny. It'd be like watching an interview with Harrison Ford, because he notoriously just hates interviews and it's always awkward and they're great fun to watch. So
my favorite interview he did was with Sacha Baron Cohen's Bruno.
Oh yeah.
Fuck off. That was it.
That's all it was.
He was walking by.
Nice. It's good. I never saw that one. What else? I think that's it in terms of like new game announcements. Oh, I guess Hogwarts Legacy. Was this a delay? This just came out like an hour ago. Let me see. They tweeted in a image. We would like to thank fans from around the world on tremendous reaction to the announcements of Hogwarts Legacy from our Portkey Games label. Creating the best possible experience for all Wizarding World and gaming fans is paramount to us. So we will be giving the game the time it needs. Hogwarts Legacy will be released in 2022, sorry. So I guess they're just announcing that the game's pretty far off. Cool. That who knows what that game actually looks like and plays. I guess we'll find out at maybe E3 later this year, if whatever the E3 equivalent is. That might be too soon. Who knows? Is there anything else? Oh, we got a Returnal combat trailer. The game being Returnal, a trailer about the combat in Returnal, because that sounds like Mortal Kombat.
The game with your favorite name?
Yeah, with my least favorite name. I have not seen this. Let's take a look here without audio. 2 minutes.
Oh, can you wait to show the clip? I got to hit the Returnal.
Jesus. Also, this is Escape from Tarkov, guys. No, what does this look like? Let's skip ahead. Okay. I don't remember it being this like fast paced in the other trailers. They also have a UI, it looks like.
I still think this game looks cool.
Yeah. What the fuck is all the tentacle shit? That's low FPS right there. Huh. Have they compared this game to... This is also doing a lot for podcast viewers. We apologize. Have they compared this game to anything in terms of what it's supposed to be or play like?
I think it's kind of roguelite-y, where you kind of make your way through it and then try to get to an end or a goal, and then the world like resets via some lore and stuff. Oh god, oh no.
I got a parasite on him. But the parasite kills gain additional health. That's good parasite.
Oh wait, that's good. It's a good parasite. Happy parasite.
Oh, but
yeah, also lots of tentacles, which is a big plus.
Yeah.
A third-person shooter featuring roguelike elements set in a futuristic science fiction setting. There you go.
Seems to be lots of
cool.
loot.
Yeah.
Oh, you're stranded on an alien planet and stuck in a time loop.
Right. I do remember the time loop. They got melee. A bladed.
Ooh.
What was that? A tropian blade? Oh, that looks kind of cool. This trailer's actually the last ones did not do anything for me. This looks very good. Looks like it might be fun.
Hmm?
When does that launch?
I'm down,
Does
man.
it say here?
Very
at the end?
pretty. Has a very cool look to it.
Yeah. March of this year. The 19th.
Yeah.
Cool.
According to the wiki, it says March 19th.
Yeah. That's what it said at the trailer there too.
Oh, I didn't.
Great. I will definitely play that. That looks pretty good. What else is there in the gaming world news? There's Nintendo stuff. It's like a DLC or a re-release of Super Mario 3D World with a new edition called Bowser's Fury. It's Mario with big Mario, Super Saiyan Mario at the end. He turns into a giant cat. Trailer's really absurd looking. New Little Nightmares trailer. I've not watched that yet. What else is there? I think that's it in kind of the big news. Am I missing anything that you guys are aware of or heard about over the past week? I think that's it.
I've been stuck in the past. Like I've just been stuck in 1999, 2000.
I've pretty much been on the farm the whole time, so
yeah.
I don't even know what day it is.
I've been in Russia, so you know how it is.
Oh yeah, for those of you just tuning in, we talked about the Ubisoft Star Wars.
Yeah, at the start of the show. Yeah, there was that Final Fantasy or the Square Enix trademarks that no one really knows what they are, but I'll rattle them off here. There were filings for the trademarks entitled Ever Crisis and The First Soldier, which could imply that maybe there's a game based around Sephiroth, perhaps. I think there was also some other names that were. This article saying Ever Crisis sounds like it could continue themes from the 2004 mobile game Before Crisis, Final Fantasy VII, and the 2007 PSP game Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII. The First Soldier could be referencing First Class Soldier and Final Fantasy VII antagonist Sephiroth. Finally, the Shinra Electric Power Company. You'll remember the industrial mega corporation supplying Mako Energy in Final Fantasy VII. So I guess Shinra Electric Power Company was also. I hope they don't spin off and just make a billion Final Fantasy VII games. Like, I kind of hope that they do, but there's no way that they could all be good, right? Like, there's no way that they ship winners in all those. I don't know.
Let me ask you this. All of the Final Fantasy blank, like offshoots.
Yeah.
What percentage of those would you say are good games?
Crisis Core was like not bad. It was just on a platform that like no one played. Didn't you play that?
I played Crisis Core. It was great.
Didn't you play that on an emulator though, or did you play it on the actual?
I played on a PSP.
PSP.
There's Dirge of Cerberus. That's a fan favorite.
Right. Yes, that one was great.
Well, that's a fun name to. That's a fun title to say.
Yeah,
Dirge of Cerberus.
It's good.
Dirge of Cerberus.
It's good. That was the one based around Vincent. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what would be the best offshoot Final Fantasy. Like not mainline title. I guess it would be the ones revolved around 7, right? Like Tactics. I guess Tactics isn't a mainline. You guys are probably right. Tactics, not taxes. Probably the best one. Yeah.
Final Fantasy Taxes.
That's what the new Shinra game is going to be. It's going to be a tax simulator. They got to manage the city. You got to divvy up the money. Put it
like I'm seeing here. I don't see your materia anywhere. Are you claiming your materia? You can claim that. You know that. Come on, Cloud. You can claim your materia.
I'd be into it.
We discussed this okay. All right. Can you give me like a ballpark how much materia you used this year?
Be good. It would be good. I'd also be surprised if one of those like offshoots, potentially one of the trademarks that they have is like a phone game, because phone games are massive in Japan. So I could foresee a phone game from the Final Fantasy VII world, which is not that exciting to one, think about, and two, to say. But we'll see. Let's talk about this. If you guys are cool with it, moving on. Let's talk about this PogChamp debacle. When did this go down? Was this last Wednesday when all of it went down? I forgot when they announced that they were like removing the PogChamp emote. I think it was last Wednesday. Yeah, chat's saying yeah.
Might have been Thursday, because Wednesday's when like the Capitol
right
was sacked or whatever, and then I believe all the reaction happened on Thursday. So I mean, I like the verb sack, like to sack something. It makes me feel better.
Jesus. Okay. All right.
The Capitol was sacked.
Yeah.
Like a pirate.
Okay. So yeah, January 7th is when the tweet went out, which was last Thursday. Here we'll read I'll read the tweet. I won't show the tweet because the replies are, well, they're actually not that bad. It's Shannon and Dan, so they're good. They're good people. We made the decision. Oh, this was on the 6th. Barry, why did you say the 7th when it's clear? God damn it, Barry. It says, I guess because time zones, and it was probably like midnight for him. We made the decision to remove the PogChamp emote following statements from the face of the emote encouraging further violence after what took place in the Capitol today. We want the sentiment and use of Pog to live on. Its meaning much bigger than the previous depicted, than the person depicted or image itself. And it has a big place in Twitch culture. However, we can't in good conscience continue to enable the use of the image. We will work with the community to design a new emote for the most hype moments on Twitch. I think everyone, and I say everyone with maybe air quotes around that because can't please everyone on the internet, was okay with this act from Twitch. People seem to be fine-ish, except maybe the Kutex. Yeah, again, I have to say everything with like air quotes because there's people literally upset about something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, every quote unquote everyone was fine with it, except people who get mad or super mad that they can't use one emote anymore.
Right.
Like those people. Like, do we want to?
I mean,
talk to those people?
Look, Zeke, babies are people too. Okay, babies are people too. You know, the 13-year-olds do count as people. Yeah. So you gotta continue to include them. So that was announced, and then Day 9 had a tweet which went super viral, saying that Twitch should basically rotate X creators, whether it's partners, affiliates, whatever, through kind of the PogChamp emote slot, and put in their own PogChamp emotes in real time every time it's used, and that went super viral.
Yeah. To which I disagreed with the idea that we'd keep the code itself, PogChamp code. Like, I love the idea of a rotating emote, but I don't think having it be PogChamp was probably a great idea, because that is associated, for a lot of people, is associated with stuff, and they'll associate it with an emotion. And if whoever they use for the emotion doesn't display that emotion to their liking,
right,
they'll hate it. It's like, that doesn't even look like PogChamp. It's like, it's because it's associated with the previous thing.
We'll get into this. I just want to preface this whole conversation with, I fucking hate this conversation because it's literally about an emote, and people are just like losing their goddamn minds for a 24 by 24 pixel image on the internet. That said, let's lose our minds together, guys. Here we go. So let me go back to the original tweet.
Well, honestly, it reminds me of like several things in the past that I was very, I guess flippant about. Like, oh, I don't really care about that. Like, I don't see why like this is such a big deal. And it's a big deal to a lot of people for some reason, unfathomably.
Yeah.
Like, never mind. I don't want to get in. I don't want to stray the topic. So anyway.
Yeah. Moving along, 2 days later, Twitch quote tweeted Sean's tweet and said, "You know what? In the spirit of figuring out 2021 together, let's just roll with it for now. Get ready for a new PogChamp every 24 hours starting today." Then the next morning, they announced the brand new emote, which was Unruly, who I think is part of the. I think he's part of the. Is it the Yo Video Games crew? Is that?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Maximilian
crew.
dude.
That's where I
It
know
was a
him
great
from.
start. It was a great start.
Yeah, and like it went fine. The next day, they had Umi no Kaiju as the PogChamp emote, arguably the best one so far, I would say, for me. But everyone pogs differently, and I can't believe I just said that sentence, because it's.
I made that point on Twitch or on Twitter. I made that point. I said, like,
That's true.
The PogChamp face is like your O face. Like, no two are going to be alike. Everybody pogs and O's differently.
And then Reversal X7 was the next, and I think that went fine. And then on the 11th is, I guess, when shit hit the fan, when Critical Bard was the PogChamp of the day. And before we get into that, I think maybe the first mistake from Twitch and kind of all this, and I don't know if it's a mistake, but the idea of announcing it every day puts so much of a spotlight on it that, like, it's such an easy thing to just link that tweet and everyone can just dogpile on it in some way, because that's exactly what LSF has been doing every single day. You can quote tweet, like it's just a weird way to. I understand why. Twitch has social media metrics that they would love to hit, and I think these tweets all did like fantastically metric-wise if you go look at it. But it's also just like putting such a spotlight on everyone involved. It gives a direct way for people that want to interact / harass the person that is the PogChamp for the day. Like direct access by just linking straight to their Twitter, and that's just another avenue of harassment. But yeah, it gets ridiculous. So on the 11th, with Critical Bard being the PogChamp of the day, people did what people do on the internet, and they went and dug up all of his old tweets and all the things that he's done and the history on the internet, and they found some conversations that happened I don't know how long ago it was, and that kind of started making the rounds, and then everyone had to take on that, and some of the stuff that he said was rather incendiary, so everyone started like backlash and blah blah blah, and that kind of just like kept going.
Well, I like the way Reginald in your chat put it.
Sure.
Live stream fails said the quiet part loud. I think that's exactly what happened with his statement.
Yeah.
Like you take the part out of context that, like, that's what happens when we take something out of context.
Right.
I'm sure you could go through my clips and put together something that makes me sound like anything you want.
Sure.
And it sucks. But if you listen to the whole clip, there's points that are being made that you need context for.
Yeah.
I think a big issue is a lot of the stuff that could be taken little pieces did sound pretty racist on its own. So that was like very big fuel for the fire. Like the big thing was there was this like montage of his old tweets going around, and each one of them taken by themselves made the dude seemed like he hated white people.
Right.
Which he obviously didn't, because there was a longer clip going around where he explained his side, and he was like, no, this is me talking about a cultural difference, and and then he explained like what it is to be black, what it is to be white. So there was obviously some depth to what he said, but the problem is take all the tweets exactly how they are, and it sounds like that's a racist person.
Right.
So it was a big miscommunication.
Yeah.
And people that were obviously trying to make him seem a specific way.
Right.
So
yeah. So with all that said, this was one of those things where I felt like in every aspect of and I think it continued on. We should note that there have been other PogChamps since then. Yesterday there was it Deer was yesterday's PogChamp, and today
and I gotta say, man,
yeah,
I Deer definitely like got a follow from me.
Yeah.
From the way she like, it was kind of like killing him with kindness and a sense of humor and it was really cool to see, like, and I think it's because I identify with that. Like, I identify with, you know, every once in a while I'll like write up an angry response to a tweet, and then I'll delete it and go, you know, call someone like a silly Sally or a Debbie Downer or something like that.
Right.
It always works out better that way if you like handle it with a little bit of humor and that kind of stuff. And if you go through like her replies to like a lot of the tweets, you'll see like some people like, this emote scares me, and then she'll just like reply with a little ghost emoji, like that kind of stuff. Like, I love that. I think that was the way she handled it was really cool.
Yeah,
and pretty goddamn funny.
Yeah, I agree. And then it comes to today where no, I still don't know. Do you, maybe you guys can help me here. Is it the Greg? Is it the Grefg? How do you pronounce this man's name? Because I don't know. The F throws me off. Any ideas?
No idea.
Chat, how do you announce the highest concurrent of all time on Twitch?
Grefg.
Grefg?
The Gref G.
The Gref G.
The Gref G.
The Gref G. I'm okay with that. Anyways, he also somewhere in there, in the course of all this, claimed,
a big YouTuber, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he's got like 14 million, something like that subs. He hit the highest concurrent on Twitch sometime last week with 2.4 million. Maybe that was Monday. I forgot when that was. But just like completely and utterly shattered the highest concurrent for a single streamer. And I think maybe of all streams of all time with 2.4 million on a single channel.
Incredible.
To steal from, there was so many good tweets from other content creators. But steal from Lyric, my favorite tweet of the whole thing. One ad could fund a small country. I like that one. That was pretty good.
I'm just gonna run a Ferrari. I mean, an ad.
Yeah, I kept saying that because a lot of people were live. We'll get back to the PogChamp thing in a second. Everyone was live when it was happening, and I kept saying, like, how many times do you think he's saying Twitch Prime or Prime Gaming? Like, do you think it, because I couldn't tune into the stream audio wise, but like, you had to say Prime Gaming a bunch, right? Like, why wouldn't you? With 2.4 million fucking people watching you, I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Obviously, I'm out of the loop and I'm old and all that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to be, I'm not being a shitbag or anything. I'm being serious. What is the draw for Gref G?
He was announcing a new Fortnite skin of his. And he was showing it off for the first time. And I also think that around this date, there was a bunch of Spanish YouTubers that were kind of, they were hyping it up, right? Like it was an event, a planned event that a lot of people were behind. And so that's kind of why I think he hit like 1 million or like 1.2 million. And then it started to just snowball, right? Like people on Twitter of significance started tweeting it out. Then you saw like all of these different organizations and media places start tweeting it out and saying like, so-and-so's got the highest concurrent, and then it hit 2 million, and then it hit like 2.4 is where it capped out. I think it was 2.4. But it was a rather big deal. The most impressive thing for me was that like Twitch kind of broke, but didn't really, like it stayed up through all of that somewhat. I think Twitch Prime was broken across the board for a little while. But yeah, it was stable. I was still able to stream. It wasn't super stable, but it was fine. It was fine. So that happened, but he's now the PogChamp for the day. So yeah, going back to the PogChamp thing, it's one of those things where I feel like there's so much, like no one's happy. Like Livestream Fails is upset because of multiple reasons. One, there's a lot of racism and bullshit on there. Two, people think that like the emotes don't actually represent what PogChamp represented to begin with, which might be valid criticism of it all. There's the side of Twitter that's upset, saying that like Twitch didn't give enough to these people that were PogChamps for a day in terms of support and moderation and things like that, which I saw a lot of. There's just a lot.
That's something.
Of, like, yeah,
I want to like talk about like. This is something I would love to get more information on in what could Twitch do?
Yeah.
Like to help the situation, to provide like safeguards or whatever the word you want to use is.
Yeah.
Like people say that like, and I don't know what that means.
Right. And that was one of the things too that I never saw. Like the tweets that I saw were like, I'm upset that Twitch didn't give more support. Not here's how Twitch could have given more support. Because I don't know. I don't know the answer to that as well. I know that in a lot of cases, I don't want to say a lot of cases. In some of the cases, I don't think like follower only mode was used on said channels, which would have been a pretty decent way to like get rid of those new accounts.
Follower only mode 24-hour would have basically fixed almost all that.
Yeah, a good portion of that. But I do know that in some cases that was used. And a lot of this is I'm going off of.
I mean, that's only for
just...
Twitch chat also.
Yes.
I mean, there was coordinated stuff going on different areas. But
correct. Yeah.
I mean, one thing that's just unfortunate is with the selection of this PogChamp thing, especially with how much scrutiny Twitch is under. I mean, they kind of have to understand that anyone they select for that PogChamp thing is going to have a similar or more level of scrutiny put onto them.
Right.
So as such, like, they need to check with them and be like, hey, just understand this is coming. Understand this, if they're going to drag up old stuff potentially about you on the internet, if you've said anything that could be misconstrued, like, you need to be aware of this. Like, Twitch should very much be coaching these people beforehand and being like, if we do this, it's going to be putting a bullseye on you.
And like,
so just keep that in mind.
Here,
in terms of after the fact, there's really not much they can do.
Right.
So I would kind of disagree with a lot of the feedback that I was seeing that, like Twitch needs to do more. Twitch should have stepped up. There's really not much they could have done. Like once that bullet has been fired, it's like, trying to put that bullet back in the gun. The shell's already expired. It's not gonna really work.
Yeah.
So it was a weird situation, but I will say more groundwork, more prep work, and most importantly, like having those people signing off and being like, just understand, like this is we're putting you on the pedestal, but you need to make sure A, that you want to be there, and B, that like all the stuff that goes along with it.
And this is one of those things where I do have to be careful what I say, but like, if you think that didn't happen from Twitch point of view, you're a fucking idiot. Like, of course Twitch did that. Like, there's no way they would
making
not.
Sure they knew and everything.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if you have an emote that is a global emote, there is a legal contract. Probably.
Oh, I know, like legality, but in terms of like Fallout and stuff like that, like going back and verifying that things can be taken out of context, or am I just being a fucking idiot? I'm sorry, JP.
I think I mean, if you want to apply that to yourself, that's on you. But like,
you just did.
I can't like. That happened, obviously. Like, I don't know how else to say that without getting myself in trouble and the person that I live with in trouble. Like, no, that obviously happened.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I actually contacted my Twitch rep to see, like, what's up. I said, like, I don't want to, like, I assumed this is the case, but these people, like the people who are selected for this are like, notified and yada yada. He's like, oh yeah, there's a whole process behind it, like everything. And the reason why is because I wanted to make a shitty reply to somebody. Like, I wanted to say, like, I think I said, what did I say? It sounds like you're assuming the people that get to be the emo for the day haven't agreed to it. I assure you they have.
Yeah.
But the difference is now they know the ramifications of that agreement, where before they might not have. Like,
well, they've seen the fallout of it for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. They've seen the, I guess, worst of it or potential worst of it. Yeah. That might be true. I will also say this, and I am going to butcher his name, but Khalif, who runs a show called Spawn on Me, which is a podcast that he's been doing for a very, very long time, is going to be doing a show, I think, later today at Wednesday, 6 p.m. PST. And the reason I'm promoting it is because he's come out and said that he will be the face of a PogChamp day in the next couple of days. And he's going to like talk about the process in detail. And so that will probably shed a lot of light to people that were not aware or are not aware of the process on what it actually means. So that's later tonight at 6 p.m. PST, 9 EST at twitch.tv/spawn on me. So yeah, that'll
But
probably be a
also-
good tune-in.
I wanna like someone in chat said, and I want to remind people that Day 9's original idea was to have it just be like a lottery system for the Pog emote from here on out.
Right.
Meaning, anytime you use PogChamp, you're going to get a different face, probably. Like, you know, get 100, 200, 300, however many content creators or members of the community, and then have them submit a Pog, and then have the Pog just be like a randomizer.
Dude,
Every time.
his original idea was awesome.
Yeah.
Like it'd be such a cool idea for just a general community emote to get it. So it's like, oh, cool, you made partner, send us a PogChamp emote. And then it's like all the Twitch partners randomly get a PogChamp emote. And then it just kind of like cycles through.
Yeah.
However, I do understand Twitch's standpoint from like good intentions, meaning we want to showcase, we want to show off somebody for a day.
Right.
Like, we want like someone to have some publicity on us for a day. And that is, I think that's like the idea of it is a fucking great idea.
Totally.
I like the idea of it.
Totally.
Twitch actually does a lot of like discoverability stuff that I think they don't get a lot of credit for a lot of times. Like people attack Twitch frequently for like not supporting smaller creators and stuff like that. And this is, you're probably exactly right, Zeke. This is just one of those things where they're like, no, look, we're trying every so often. We're trying. But yeah, I mean, that's certainly one of the reasons they could be doing that. Also, the tech. I don't think there's anything like that on Twitch right now, where there's like cycling emotes of especially with a random element. So
there's a lot of things that like have to happen. One, the tech, like Code just said. Two, the you'd have to get every partner to like agree to that. Which, if you've ever worked with partners, we're really bad about emails and checking things, like responding to them in a good, timely manner. So chasing down, I don't know, 20,000 of them.
Yourself.
Yeah. Anyways, there's a lot of hurdles for sure from a Twitch point of view to do that. Exactly how Day 9 described. But I do agree with both of you that like Day 9's idea is superior than like 24-hour. But same time, 24-hour stuff, you get a lot of discoverability. Like amongst all of the drama and all that stuff, I think most people that have gotten to be a PogChamp for a day have tweeted or said on their streams like, this is awesome. Like, I'm getting so much new followers, so much new viewers. Like, I'm getting a lot of shit because people on the internet are awful. But overall, it's like pretty good for the channel. It's good for me as a creator. It put a giant spotlight on, you know, what I do over on my channel for sure. It just sucks that like that gets, you know, drowned out by the drama associated with all that. So
especially because, you know, like Twitch was probably trying to do the right thing by picking Critical Bar. They were like, let's
Totally.
get somebody who, you know, like they were trying to make an effort. Then again, you know, over the last year, Twitch has made a lot of good efforts that have not necessarily gone super well. So
yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed. Yeah, so I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts on the PogChamp stuff. I don't know if there's other bits or other avenues of conversation you guys want to have about it.
Well, one thing, like just a fucking minor nitpicky thing. I don't know if Twitch is listening, but can you look with that PogChamp? Oh, and then then you think of the ramification. I wanted to like with the new PogChamp, like when I mouse over it, I want to see whose channel that is.
Yes.
Then,
Yeah.
But
It
then
should link to
it's
their
like,
channel if you click it.
right. But then it's like, oh, that just makes it for easier targeting. Like, is it worth that? That's
I
like
think
the
so.
thing you got to consider. Like, if they hate you, they got an easy way to find you now. You know?
Yeah. It
I
does.
still think it should.
I agree with Co in the sense it provides context to like the emote. Because right now you just see a random emote that you've never seen before in place of a popular one that you've probably used 1,000 times. And maybe you don't follow Twitch on Twitter or you don't visit live stream fails and you're just like someone that purely goes to Twitch and like hangs out in a popular streamer's channel and you see a random emote. If you hover over that, it just says PogChamp. You're like, well, why the fuck is this different? Right? Like if you're able to click on it and go to that channel, that person most likely will be streaming and provide some context to it. So I agree with both of you. Like, it does open up an avenue for harassment, but if you have safeguards and like follower only or even subscriber only or something in your channel, like, I think that it does a net positive
Yeah.
linking to it. But yeah, it's
if
tough.
the point is to get more eyes on the stream, like that's what Twitch can do. You know, sometimes, put it bluntly, the world is just kind of a shitty place, especially for communities that are marginalized in some ways, and that's just going to happen just on a ratio. The more eyes you get from a public perspective onto that, I mean, Twitch is a public place; it exists in the public domain. So
Yeah.
all the issues that come with public shit, I mean, is going to deal with Twitch, and that doesn't make it Twitch's fault. That's more of like an issue with a lot of the shit going on these days.
Right.
So you know, at the end of the day, if they're doing it specifically to get people more eyes on them, like do everything you can to get the eyes on them. You know, again, give them do the best you can to get them the tools to deal with it. But at the end of the day, like you can only do so much. They're not there to curate the world.
Right.
They're there to try to do what they can for people who are wanting to stream on the platform.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think if you honestly did the emote linking to the page, like global emotes might have more weight to them.
I was just gonna say that,
which
dude.
is why
I was
Zeke
like,
is obviously like super for this, because I mean,
I am absolutely all for this. So anybody
it all
who
comes
clicks
out.
BC Warrior, capital B, capital C, capital W, lowercase Warrior. Anybody who clicks
Oh
that,
man,
comes
is
to my
that emote still
channel
in? I haven't
and
seen
say
it for
like
years.
they want to know who it is, and they want to ask questions about it. You can go right ahead. I'll answer all your questions.
Wait,
I thought they removed that emote.
Yeah,
haven't-
I thought
Oh, there
that
it is.
one.
Oh wow, it's been so long.
I thought they removed that due to inactivity. I agree. I don't know.
Still one of the best emotes on Twitch. By the way, you guys should Google BC Warrior Zeke for some of his live stuff as the
antics.
BC Warrior.
It's true.
That emote has some history, some pretty great history too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Why is it so low res? Because it was made during Justin.tv days.
From the 720p days. Not
From the
Exactly.
70s is what it's from.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Mm.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of the charm of it. That's kind of blurry-ish, but I'm fully willing. Hey, Twitch, I'm fully willing to put on the wig and glasses again if you need to make a high res
Uh-oh.
BC Warrior. I'm down. But if you like it the way it is, that's fine. I don't mind that.
Oh Lord. I'm just scanning through to see if there's any other like conversation on the PogChamp, or if we've exhausted all the dialogue on it, as if it were like a CRPG or something.
It's really sad that like one of the only global emotes in costume is mine. Like you can't tell like who it is because of the glasses and the wig and shit. Like everybody else, it's their actual face. Or like just without like, so you can identify them. Like that one, like I get so many people going, wait, that's you? I'm like, yeah, dude. Damn it.
Is there a
Wearing glasses, got the Fu Manchu, got a wig on. Like you're literally in disguise.
is there a
Exactly.
there is. If I was trying to see if there's a global emote list. And there is.
Yeah, for those of you-
if that's true, Zeke.
Real quick, if you're wondering, the BC for BC Warrior stands for breast cancer. We did a breast cancer fundraiser years and years ago, me and Man versus Game, and we did a little dress up dance thing to the song "You Touch My Tra-La-La," whatever. I don't know who does it or whatever, but we did a funny little thing, and we got an emote made, or Twitch, Justin TV at the time had the emote made.
Some of these I haven't seen like Give Please in forever. I didn't realize Intersex Pride was an emote, a global emote, nonetheless.
I think if I'm not mistaken, don't all the represented the pride, there's transgender pride, like the pride emote has like all of the LGBTQIA2
Right.
things represented.
It's interesting seeing like the obviously straight up paid for global emotes here, like Tomb Raid. I don't think I've ever seen that used. Final Fantasy had some for Final Fantasy 15, I remember, during that release.
Morphin time.
Oh god, yeah, Morphin time. Yep.
They had temporary ones for a while too, where like they would have just brand ones. They still do that, I think.
Yeah, Yeah, it is a thing that if you are wanting to have that on Twitch, you can contact Twitch as a company. Um, yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to look at that. Some of these I've never even seen. Like FB challenge. Does that even work still? Yep. What even is that?
Oh, it's a red flag. It's the coach's challenge flag.
Oh, okay. It's a
Football,
okay.
yeah.
Football. Gotcha.
Yep.
Wow, I'm not a sports person, as you can clearly see.
American football.
I was getting very close. Is that like a candy wrapped in like some paper mache? Like, what's going on here? Anyways, I think that's it for the news. What time? We could take a break. I think we've all been playing like one thing, right? Like Co's been lost in the farming lands.
Stardew and BattleTech. Oh, and I did a Pantheon stream.
Let's talk about the Pantheon thing. That's a short one. What's
Sure.
going on in Pantheon? I know I saw a little bit of the stream, and I'll be honest, it looks like EverQuest, which I think for you is like a huge win. It's a Pog moment, one might say.
Oh God, no. So I did a Pantheon stream. I did it with Benjamin Dean and Chris Perkins over at Visionary Realms. For the record, they're not sponsored streams. I'm just a fan of the game. Pantheon has had a rather prolonged development. They've had all sorts of hurdles they've had to jump over. Just most of last year, they were like trying to streamline their processes and stuff. And they're finally getting to a point where they're like having something they can show. And what they recently did was we did a stream just a couple days ago that basically showed like a proof of concept of what the game is going to be like in a more finalized form. And frankly, it was pretty surprising and pretty awesome. It ran well. There's a lot of cool mechanics in it. It felt kind of like a combination of EverQuest and Morrowind. So like EverQuest 1 and Morrowind, there was tons of stuff to click on with like lots of lore and things around. There were items all over the world that you could click on and actually pick up into your inventory, which was really fun as well. I kind of like that a lot. The climbing mechanics were in. They were starting to get the mechanics down for their acclamation system, which is kind of like different ways that you have to deal with tumultuous and dangerous environments. Like I had to put glyphs on my arms and hands so I could exist in like toxic environments and things like that. I played a rogue, which was a pretty fun kind of like stealth class, obviously standard kind of rogue gameplay. And yeah, I mean I had a good time with it. It's very clear that they have like the foundation down. My big concern and pretty much which has always been my big concern is I want to see them like start getting out the content there. So see the cities, get the quests, the big zones, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I had a great time with it. I was told it was going to be like 45 minutes. I ended up playing it for like 2 hours. And the zone that we went to was super cool. There was like a kind of fun little story that was going through it. There were some really great times towards the end where like the music would hit really well. And they had some very cool immersive elements. And yeah, I mean, it's coming along, man. It's coming along. All of my original concerns are still there. I would have loved to have, for instance, have seen this demo like 3 years ago. But it is definitely coming along. So they apparently have a rather large funding slash money announcement coming up in the next dev thing. I'm really fingers crossed. It's the kind of thing where they're saying like we have found a long-term publisher or found a long-term backer or something like that, so we can actually get this game out there, and hopefully they can get some more people working on it and get it finished. But definitely coming along, man. I would love to play this game in a finished form. I could get lost in a game like this for a long time in its finished form. It basically felt, like I said, like an MMO kind of Morrowind style game. So yeah, I have high hopes and hoping it will go well.
You don't think it's anything like crowdfunding, right?
I really hope it's not. I really have no idea. The crowdfunding's kind of always open. So like right now you can go to like pantheonmmo.com and you can like do pledges and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So they made it sound like, and again, I'm not part of the development, so I really don't know what it is at all. They made it sound like it was a newsworthy thing that they were announcing. So again, hope is that they're getting an influx or a big investor or something. Maybe they're just announcing a larger style of like funding pushing or something like that. But yeah, I mean it's very cool, but again, I'm really wanting to see it like just start getting wrapped up. Everything I played here, if they tightened this up and just put in a whole bunch of content, I'd play that game. I mean, in its current state, it's like obviously it's a pre-alpha, so like you can see the health bars and stuff are basically just solid colors and things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's got all the components of a fun working MMO. So yeah, I want to see it get done.
You said you would play it. Do you think it would be, as someone who's looking for like that EverQuest 1 experience, do you think it would have any sort of, like, would other people looking for that experience be the only ones that would be playing it? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Mechanically, I think fans of kind of open worldy RPG games, as long as you don't mind playing with some other people or a small group, I think could have a lot of fun in this game. I think EverQuest 1 fans definitely could mechanically, but the thing is a huge portion of games like this are defined by how immersive and good their world is. So mechanically, I would say it absolutely is getting all the pieces it needs to be something that I think a lot of people would really enjoy. But the thing that's really going to make people stay and make people want to play it long term is going to be a large immersive world, tons of items all over the place. One thing that was really cool is while we were playing, like a skill dropped for my character, and I learned it and it upgraded a current skill that I had, which was kind of fun. You can also, all the skills you have mastery levels that like give new benefits and things like that as it goes down as well. So I mean, there's all these cool little things in it that I think would really prove to some long-term play if it all like had a big giant sandbox to play in. But yeah, it's we're gonna have to kind of see where it goes, and I'm hoping that we'll get more news on that soon.
Did this make you want to go back and play more EQ1?
Yes.
I figured.
It made me want to play this game. I want to play like an EQ1 size version of this game. Like,
right.
That's what I want to play.
Yeah, that makes sense. This video is on your YouTube. If anyone else wants to check out the rest of the video, it's like you said, about 2 hours long. And then what's the website for more information?
PantheonMMO.com.
Okay, PantheonMMO.com. And we should also note, as Ko has done multiple times, like he's just doing this to like get the game out there. He's not.
I'm doing this because I want to play this game. That's it. I have given them a good amount of money. I'm a backer, just like many people who are doing it. But to also be clear, last night a long-term friend of mine on Twitch approached me and he was like, "Hey, I saw your video. Do you think I should throw a whole bunch of money at this project?" And I said everything that I was just saying right now. Like, I'm loving it. I'm having a great time. I definitely have reservations on how long it's been in development. I definitely have reservations that what I did yet last time was like all that I saw. I'm definitely not wanting to wait like another 2 to 3 years after it's already been like in development for 6 or 7. So it's there's a lot of things to consider before you pop open your pocketbook and start throwing money at it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's one of those. Oh, go ahead, Zeke.
I just want to say it bears repeating, and I'm gonna keep saying it until people get it, till every 100% of you get it. When we, as streamers, get sponsored for something, we don't get told that we can only say good things about the things we're sponsored for.
Yeah, it's not how that works.
It's not a part of the contract, and I don't know any streamer that's worth a damn that would agree to a contract like that. Like, just so you know, we can be critical of the things we get sponsored to do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, I wasn't sponsored for that.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying, though. Like, yeah.
No.
I know that. But, like, the fact that you had to say that, like, and give it praise, like, I'm not paid to say that. Like, we're never paid to say good things.
Yeah. That's true. Oh, good point. Good point. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Agreed. Speaking of being paid to play things, I also played Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh, I'm glad you did. Because, I had a bunch of people asking if I was going to play that, but I was told it was just a demo, so I didn't jump in. How is the Monster Hunter Rise, Ko?
It was Monster Hunter. It was Monster Hunter, but
no
it had some,
shit.
I know, right? But it had some really cool things. Like, one of the things it's doing now is it's putting in this thing called a wire bug. And the wire bug essentially is a system where you have like this always recharging grapple hook, essentially. You can hang in the air from anywhere. All of the weapons have like moves that are attached to it. So, I mean, it's actually a really cool system. It makes having those big, heavy weapons, like, you get a lot more maneuverability with them. You can see the wire bug stuff at the bottom of the screen there. So there's the wire bug. And again, you can just hang anywhere. So that was really cool. Like, that alone was a pretty big a pretty big addition. They've also kind of they fine tuned a lot of the weapon stuff from what I played in World, and it was good. I mean, the biggest problem by far was the fact that I was playing on the Switch. That was no question the biggest problem. As I said multiple times during the sponsored stream, like it's gonna be a different experience on like on hopefully a PC. Although they haven't announced PC, there's been like leaks that it's coming to PC. Like apparently, I don't know what they were exactly, but people are convinced that it is coming to PC at some point. I know that if it ever gets confirmed on PC, I would definitely wait for PC after playing on the Switch. I mean, it was definitely chugging, and it wasn't the prettiest one I've seen, especially after playing Monster Hunter World on the PC. But yeah, I mean, it was cool, man. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. I played with my mods and some viewers for a while, and I mean, it was good, dude. I had a good time with it.
Is the demo?
This is the wire bugs can hold them down and stuff now too, as well.
Is the demo limited availability, or is it just available till?
I think it was time limited.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken. Chat may have to help me. Oh, it is a timed exclusive. Okay, chat is saying it is a timed exclusive on the Switch.
Oh,
okay, cool. So that would be good.
Well, then I'll be waiting.
Yeah. Oh, another thing they added a new kind of mount that you can get around on. Like it's basically instead of the palico, you have like this kind of a dog creature, and you can just jump on it and ride it around whenever you want, and it's really fast. And it will actually like run up walls and stuff too. You basically just become a super fast version of yourself. So again, maneuverability has really been improved in this one, and you just get to where you want to be a lot quicker, even if it's just like on a grand scale, like around the map, or on a small scale around the fight.
Is there like what's the loading situation? Is it specifically on the Switch? Like, do you load into one area at a time? Do you load into like one world at a time? Like what?
It was similar to Monster Hunter World on the PC.
Okay.
You loaded into like a whole map, and it was pretty smooth once you were in there. The performance again being the main issue. Loading, I don't remember being too much of an issue.
Okay. What about? Can you that wall right next to you or behind you now in the video? Can you just jump on that wall and start climbing? Is that like how maneuverable it is? Is it Zelda in nature?
So, but I do remember seeing something about how you can do wall running with the new wire bug system. So there's definitely some more maneuverability, but I did have to find vines and stuff to traverse like big Y stuff. Yeah.
With that much like open accessibility, I guess I would say. I wonder how people will like break it in a weird sense and like get to places that they shouldn't, or find like faster routes to different monsters or something like that.
That's one of the wire bug moves right there for the switch axe.
Oh yeah.
It's like shoots you forward, which is really cool. Gets you right next to the monster. So you can like break out and heal. And then if you have a wire bug, look at the monster and do the wire bug move. And not only do you get there super quick, but you're doing like 3 big hits on the way in. But yeah, no, there's going to be a lot of new strategy with this stuff. Not only does everyone now have the wire bug thing where they can zip around, but then there's 2 unique weapons per move that also expend the wire bug charges. And some of them are like counters, some of them are movement based, some of them are like big slams. There's going to be all sorts of stuff with this one.
Can I just say I hate how you're killing Falcor? I hate it.
Hey, what?
I hate this is like a Falcor before he gets all this
Hold on. Before you go on,
beautiful.
Co, have you seen The Never-Ending Story?
Oh yeah, I know Falcor.
Okay, all right. I was worried for a second with your history of not seeing movies.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's worse because the baby, his fur hasn't even come in yet all the way. It's terrible.
No. Yeah, it looks like Monster Hunter. I can't imagine playing this on like the small like handheld version. Like, it just seems like that would be.
I used the classic controller too. I don't know how this would have been on like the
rumbles,
normal.
Yeah. Joy-Cons, I guess what they're called. Yeah. I hope this does make its way to a console.
Yeah, Zeke, when he's like that right there, he whines like a dog. He goes, arr, 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 arr. So,
wouldn't that be great though? I think that would be fucking hilarious if they put a monster in Monster Hunter that made you feel just the worst possible way when you're like killing it. It gives you the best drops of any monster ever, but it also makes you feel like a terrible person for getting those, for killing it.
It's got like big anime eyes, and it attacks you with hugs.
It's crying. It just says, why?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, and then it whines like a dog. Like, oh my god. That would make me laugh.
I saw
apparently the Dodogama is
from World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. the big puppers guy.
I saw
I gotta look this up.
a,
I don't know what this is.
a Twitter
Dodo
meme where
Mama.
Monster Hunter is the only game where people say they have a favorite monster and then they proceed to kill it. It's like, true. Never thought of it that way. That's big true. Big true. Is that doing it for you, Zeke? Is that sad enough?
I can totally see. Like he's a big chonker of a guy, and someone told me he like even tries to run away from you. Like,
Well, even when they start to limp, it's still kind of fucked up when like a
Oh,
monster's
yeah.
limping away because you're like, well, you get into it's like, oh, I got to cut his tail off while he's limping. But taking that out of context, it's kind of fun.
While he's dying, let me torture him a bit so I can use his body for parts.
Guys, I don't like Monster Hunter anymore. I can't play. It's too much for me. It's too much. Jesus. What is that little red thing, Co? Is that like something you're trying to place? Well, now let me skip back.
Which one?
This thing, right? Is that your HP or stamina? What is that?
Oh, I think that's the like pointing to whatever the main monster is in the area. I think it's
it's like a
little,
radar?
arrow kind of dealy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's only the quest mob node, not necessarily the one you're fighting. It may be in this case the one that I'm fighting, but it kind of like always lets you know where you're supposed to be if you're not there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's smart.
oh, so it's Monster Hunter doesn't mean that you are a hunter of monsters. It means you're the monster that is also a hunter.
Yes.
Monster
I get it.
Hunter. That's
Multimedia.
right.
I get it. Aha. All right. That makes sense now.
You play
Props to hold on. Who said that? There it is. Zero Jin. Who said that in chat? That wasn't my joke.
You played Monster Hunter World, right, Zeke? Didn't you try
Yeah, I
it?
played a little bit of it.
Okay. I thought you did.
Yeah.
It just wasn't your necessary. I think you played Hammer or something like that, if I recall.
Yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea. It wasn't the grind that I look for, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. It's not for everyone, for sure. A question about Rise. Do you think that's going to satiate and I know you don't speak for the entirety of the Monster Hunter fan base, but do you think that that's going to satiate the in-between time of World and whatever the next big, like, next-gen game is? Current gen thing is?
I think it could. I mean, it really depends, honestly, on the variety and everything of what they add and all that kind of stuff. But I will say, like, for people that waited for the PC version and really loved that, this going back to the Switch is going to be a little tough.
Yeah. Yeah, it runs at 30, right? Or it's capped at 30?
I believe so.
Okay.
And there were times when it was chugging a little bit. It ran fine, like, for portions, but yeah, it was a Switch.
Yeah.
You know? Don't know how else to say to it.
I hope all those rumors of, like, the HD Switch or whatever more powerful Switch come true. It'd be nice if that launched at like actual 1080p 30. I don't even know if it runs at 1080p on the on the Switch. It might be 720. It might be kind of rough. So
Yeah.
we will see.
The Super Switch.
The Super Switch.
How long has the Switch been out?
Couple years. Let's see. Nintendo Switch launched in, oh god, it's taking me a while there it is. The Switch launched in, Jesus, there's so much information here in this wiki.
People saying March 2017?
March 3rd, 2017 was the release date.
Okay.
So
it's getting
coming up
near
on 4 years
old now.
Yeah.
I think it's time for an upgrade.
That's what a lot of leaks are saying. Yeah.
Switch U.
Oh god. Yeah, some weird
You Switch.
Fucking yeah. Some weird name for Nintendo to come up with and make. I think it's time though, for sure. Like I would love to see Nintendo get something new. They've just Nintendo in general just needs something, especially after last year where I feel like they put out like 2 games or something. So they've got Rise coming out. What is the launch date on that? Didn't we say when the launch date was? March, something like that. And then they've got the Bowser's Fury. So I guess they're starting to put some stuff out this year. But
Oh no, Aerovirus from my chat is right. I think they have to come out with a Switch Series XL. So it's basically a tablet with like controllers on the side. They got to do that first and then new console.
yeah. Hey, I'll say, chats, I'll echo what they're saying. Like, it's still kind of hard to get a Switch sometimes. Like, they sell fucking, they have not slowed down. It's not like they need to put out a new one. They're still doing just fine in terms of selling them. So, Yeah. What else? Oh, PoE. I guess we could talk about that for 15 minutes. Co, have you watched any of the announcement stuff for
Early.
the
I was
PoEs?
actually gonna look on here. I was assuming we were gonna check it out probably.
Yeah, yeah. Seems to be like a big bulky expansion. They definitely. I mean, it's in. I made a like joke tweet about the cycle of the game where like patch
I
notes
was
come out
just
and
going to
everyone's
bring
upset.
that up and how much I loved that tweet. That is a fucking brilliant tweet.
I mean, it's true in so many different games, but yeah, it's very true in PoE. But we'll get to that in just a sec. So this is the new end game mechanic. So they're doing new Atlas stuff at the end, which is this. You're fighting the Maven, who's the new big bad, equivalent to kind of the Awakener of not equivalent in power, but equivalent in terms of scope to the Awakener stuff from most recent event. The big thing is that as you fight the Maven, she like sees you in maps and tests your strength, and then you get sent to like a place where you fight bosses, going from like I think 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 at the same time. Bosses of maps, or if you're doing like tier 16, that means 10 potential guardians. So it can be real fucking crazy, ultimately. And then I think there's also the Maven boss fight, which they haven't showed anything out about, but I would assume that's going to be very difficult. And yeah, I think a lot of people are saying it's the equivalent of like an Uber Elder style difficulty. So super late end game. This is some of the multi boss fight arena.
Nutty.
Yeah, I mean you're fighting 10 bosses at the same time, right? So that just seems like death to me. I don't know how that's gonna work.
Good luck, hardcore players.
Yeah, I don't play hardcore this league.
I can only imagine how much random combination in that is going to just lead to like instant. I mean, are they nerfing the bosses when you count them or when you do multiple? They have to be, right?
No, they're actually buffing the bosses. She adds things to the bosses that only she can add, and yeah, it's kind of a nightmare scenario. You do get to select the bosses that you put in the arena, I believe, depending on I think the maps leading up to it. But yeah, there's a lot there for sure. And I'm sure there will be some sort of like buggy encounters throughout that. But this is, I think, right here, you can see like that's what is that, beach, the giant crab, and then it spawned like a second giant crab kind of in there. So
double the fun.
Yeah, seems like a giant pain in the ass that will also be fun.
Have they talked to any bit about that like a passive map skill tree or whatever?
Yeah, they have. So that's another thing, and we could show some of that right here. So each region of the map is going to have its own kind of passive skill tree. I think 10 points total is what you'll get. And as the players can choose, and I think this is a really good addition to the game, you can choose things like if you enjoy doing harvest, for example, you can take these nodes for harvest, and then you'll get benefits for any time that you do harvest in that map region.
Oh, cool.
So it's good. Like you can choose things that you enjoy doing rather than just like, oh fuck, I have to do this. I have to interact with this type deal. Which has always kind of been an issue, I think, for Path of Exile, at least for me, when there's just like 10 different types of things to do and you don't necessarily want to go into the Temple of Atzawaddle for the whatever. It's good. I like the variants for sure. Cool. The other thing, that's all part of the Atlas. And then the new, what do they call it? They call it something else. Chat, what's it called? The League, I think. Yeah, it's called Ritual, but I think it's the League is how they show that. Where is that at in here? Basically, Ritual is throughout the map. There are these like nodes that spawn. You go up, you kill all the things in the Ritual area, and then at the end of that, you're given favor, which is you click on like the center pylon, and there's a pool of items that you can choose from to spend favor for those items. So you get to like choose out of a pretty big selection of items which one you want. And if there's one that you want but you don't have enough favor for it, this is a new ability. You don't have enough favor for it, then you can say like, I want this item to stay here so that when I do another ritual on the same map, I can get it later. So say if like there's an exalted orb in there, I think is the example they use, you can like save that and do it later in the map, which is another cool thing that gives the player like an actual choice over the rewards. So it's good. I think all of that is good. Those are the two new abilities. There's the Trinity support and then the Hydrosphere, which is a more active ability. And yeah, they've got new uniques as they always do. But it seems like a rather big league. They also made some changes to Heist. They changed all of Harvest. So when you go into a harvest thing, there's no more making a garden. The garden is already there and you just choose which one you want. And then you can store the different crafts from that harvest back into your base. And that seems like a really good way to like handle the harvest mechanic. Cause I hated making the gardens. And I think a lot of people disliked the garden aspect of harvest, and they seem to have kind of done away with all of that. So that's a really good change. And then of course, if you want to spend $480, they've got you covered too. Cause there's new packs. there's two new $60 packs, and there's 5 new like giant supporter packs that you can spend $480 if you'd like. So
5?
Well, it's like the tiers, right? So there's one for like,
Oh, okay. Oh,
I
thank
forget
God.
the price breakdown, but there's the ultimate one that's just 480. So
Okay.
Yeah.
How many have you bought?
I haven't bought any.
Okay.
I'll buy them eventually, but I've not bought them yet.
So I just had a question, because this seems like the point of entry is might be similar. What is harder to get a handle on for a first time player, this or Tarkov?
I actually have like, haven't played a lot of Tarkov. I think it depends on what you are more inclined to have interest in. Like if you understand guns or gun culture, Tarkov is easier to get into because you understand like how a gun is built.
Right, but there isn't like a clear favorite. It depends on the person.
Yeah.
You know it's a good question when chatter ups with, oh, PoE, oh, Tarkov, oh, clearly PoE, oh, Tarkov 100%. Clearly PoE 100%.
That's why I asked the question, because it seems like both are super complex.
Yeah.
People who know it really know like the ins and outs of the shit. And it's kind of like talking to a programmer. Like you need subtitles to understand like
totally
what they're saying.
Well, I had the complaint of like, God, people that said like on stream while playing Tarkov, and everyone, I was saying like, God, people that said Tarkov is like not as intense as PoE, like they're just crazy. And they're like, well, no, we actually know how guns work. And I said, oh, I guess you're right. Like all the stuff that I'm doing and adding to these guns, like if you understand how guns work or you have a gun and you've cleaned a gun, you probably understand how these guns put together. I don't have a gun or clean a gun on an average. I don't hunt or anything like that. So buying different things to like have a fucking, a silencer on there and getting the other like 4 pieces, it's just nonsense to me. So
when talking about PoE though, would you say it's fair that people who have experience with, I don't know, is Diablo a fair, like,
no, like that's the other thing. I don't know what the real world parallel is to Path of Exile.
Well,
not real world, but like gaming world.
Well, there's 2 different ways to play Path of Exile also. There's playing Path of Exile with a build guide.
Yeah.
And then there is trying to go into Path of Exile like actually without any information.
Yeah.
And then trying to succeed. And that second one is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
If you have no idea how to play Path of Exile at all, you don't know about the way that things synergize, you don't know what things do or anything like that. Like the tutorial's cool and it'll get you going, but it is so incredibly easy to completely make a character just not work. You can neuter a character completely and make it so they literally cannot do end game content if you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different. Tarkov, it never really gets to that point. You can go on as a scav run and have success if you can point and shoot properly, and then you learn how to to sneak around and stuff, and you have good headphones. Like there's I feel like it's a less of a barrier of entry with Tarkov, where with PoE there's just so many mechanical things to learn and do it well. Now, granted, if you follow guide or something, that's different.
Yeah.
You know, if you follow a guide, then PoE can be pretty easily awesome, especially if it's a good guide for a strong build. But to just go in with no information, like PoE is daunting. It is daunting in terms of, even with a guide, it can be very daunting.
Yeah. I disagreed with Co initially, but the more that he kept selling me on it, like, you can just spawn into a Tarkov map as a scav and like point at someone and most likely do well if you shoot their head. I think it starts to get a little bit.
Granted,
Yeah, go ahead.
won't know what extraction means. You'll
Yeah.
have no idea where to go. You will barely even know you're in the right place unless you know to look for the timer. So I mean,
Yes and no. Like
they're both really tough.
Yeah.
Let's just say that they're both really hard. Yeah.
I mean, I guess by comparison, like you can go into the first beach area of Path of Exile and like kill a mob and find success there, but you know, you don't know that you got to go to the next area and get a skill gem and all that. So yeah, they both kind of are terrible to get into, I think. Yeah.
Also, good time to shout this out, by the way. A rather well-known PoE streamer, also friend of the channel, his name is Zarin. He is actually working on a new player guide for PoE that I think, as someone in my chat just mentioned, is going to be out on Friday. So if you are thinking about getting into PoE, he actually, I think, even did like a PoE school. Like he dressed up like a teacher and everything and did like a training school multiple hours a day. So if you are wanting to dive in, it's looking like this league could be good. Full disclosure for any new players, new leagues are infamous for having issues, and they're probably will. The bigger the league, the more potential for issues. Granted, they've had a little bit.
They've had some more
longer
time
than normal.
so let's
to
hope.
work on this one.
Let's hope.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
But you know, there may be problems, there may be issues. Just keep that in mind. It's a game that's the definition of a living game. Like games as a live service is actually done properly in terms of games like PoE. It is always being developed. There's always major content getting added. They've been doing this for years. That's one of the reasons the game is so huge right now. But yeah, so you know, stuff happens. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, people in chat are saying they had alpha testers this time around, so I did not know that. And I also hope that it is going to work because they are definitely. This is the first time around they've done sponsored streams, and they're sponsoring a lot of people outside of the PoE ecosystem, as well as people within the ecosystem like me and Co. But like on Friday, I'm jumping into Path of Exile with Gold Glove. So, and he's messaging me like, so what should I do? And I was like, well, how do I explain and I was like, think of every time you left click, math happens. And that math, usually you want the number to be bigger. He goes, okay. All right. And I was like, do you want to use a bow to do your math? And he's like, yeah, I think a bow sounds good to do my math. So I think he's going to go like some sort of bow build, but it'll be a lot of fun because Gold Glove is like, like the Call of Duty player, right? The quintessential Call of Duty player. So having him jumping into PoE will be in a lot of ways a test of, I guess, my ability as a teacher and his PoE's ability of like new player adoption. I guess we'll see how that goes. He's also exposing his entire community to it, which is also good, right? Like that. I think this league could be I think this league will be the biggest because of how many people, at least on Twitch, are being sponsored to play it. But Zeke, I know you're going to say something. I apologize for interrupting.
Oh, no. It's I just want to, I'm not trying to get my anybody who watches me, I'm not trying to get your hopes up. I'm not playing PoE or Escape from Tarkov. Like, I would say ostensibly forever. Like, I don't think I'll ever pick up those games.
Yeah.
It's not for me. It's not for me.
Yeah, it's true.
For those asking my chat, no, I am not teaching anyone on Friday. I'm teaching myself. My last big league was like a year ago when I finally killed Shaper.
I remember
and all that stuff. So it's there. For me, PoE is one of those games where it has to have something that kind of grabs me for me to really get far in. I'm hoping this new endgame stuff will do it. The last big one was for me was like Metamorph and things like that. So I'm hoping that this will be another big league for me. I have really big leagues, and then sometimes I just dip my toe in and I'm kind of like, this isn't a league for me. And then I go back to my plethora of other games that I play. So we'll see. I never know until I play. So we'll see. I'm hoping I'll like it.
Yeah.
And not to disparage Ziggy D, who was a very, very fine teacher. I did have fun.
One of the best, yeah.
a little the short amount of hours that we had together was really fun, but it's not something I want to do solo.
Yeah.
Or probably ever again.
It it is one of the weirder things to talk about, like the sponsored streams. Like I think I'm sponsored for an hour, which is like an hour of PoE is like fucking nothing. It's like a penny. It's nothing. I think Gold Glove is sponsored for 2 hours, and like I really wonder if 2 hours is going to be enough to like get the hooks in him, or if he'll just like play 2 hours, kind of like what happened with Zeke, where like he experiences a portion of it, he understands what it is, but he's just like, all right, I'm good. I'm gonna collect my money and get the fuck out of here. Like, I really don't know how that's gonna go.
Yep, 2 hours here.
Yeah, it's a weird game to get. Like, you can't sponsor like 30 hours of PoE, right? Like there's no way. But to really actually say
Especially
you
for a new
played,
player.
yeah, like to say you played PoE, I really think you have to put like 30 hours into it to see if you actually like it, right? Because the first 10 acts are not really the game. They are, but they're not at all. It's just a small portion of what the game actually
Game
is. So.
outgrew the acts.
Yeah.
Like they were the game, but then over time the game turned into something else.
Right.
And now it's a completely different beast. I like what Mr. MX said, by the way. Or they could sponsor someone like Sips to open the game, took one look at the passive, and then close it forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Sips is actually going to play a bunch, or at least has told me so much that he'll be playing a bunch off stream.
Awesome.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm
That's
excited.
still such a great clip.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is indeed. Okay, we're due for a break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about. Oh, we didn't get into the drama, but it's kind of all the PoE drama is always the same drama. Patch notes comes out.
Yeah, I'd love to, like, I've heard musings, but I'd love to hear a bit more info on what exactly was in the patch notes and why people are apparently pissed, and we can talk about that when we get back.
Okay, great. Yeah, let's talk about it when we get back. We'll take our break. We'll come back and do another hour and a half. Talk more Tarkov, PoE. Zeke's been doing more CD-ROM along, Ding Dong. That's the name of it. It's not whatever he says.
CD-ROM
I gotta type up a new name for it. Shit.
Get new graphics and everything. It's been renamed.
Damn it.
And Co's been farming. Co, did you get to the new stuff in Stardew? Or are you still doing the old stuff?
There's new stuff everywhere.
Okay, great.
So yeah, I mean, I'll have lots of Stardew to talk about. Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, we'll talk about that all and more in about 5 or 6 minutes here on More Draw Frames. We'll see you guys then.